Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. How are you doing today? This is Shay, and on this channel, we talk about everything Canada, immigration, and life in Canada. So if that's the kind of content that you want to see, you are in the right channel. Go ahead and subscribe so that you're always in the loop when we post new videos. Today, I want to give an update on some of the draws that have happened recently in Canada with the express entry. I also want to talk about a couple of PNP draws and how to position yourself to kind of benefit from some of these draws and what you can expect going further. It's the end of the year, and a lot of provinces, including the federal government, will start getting their immigration quotas. Yeah. In case you didn't know, there are immigration quotas. So the government, is going to bring in a certain number of immigrants or a certain number of permanent residents for the year. From 2025 to 2027, those numbers have already been announced. Now, every year, they will do a split for all the provinces. So every province has a quota, and the federal government itself has a quota for the express entry. So as soon as the quota for a province is filled, they cannot take in any more permanent residents. That's why sometimes you might submit an application, or they might say they post, taking in application for certain PNP routes. Like we're going to see one or two provinces that have actually forced immigration for the year 2024. And we're believing that in 2025, they are going to open them up. One advice that I have for you is that you should get ready so that as soon as they receive their quotas in 2025, you are one of the first to apply. A lot of times, these quotas get filled very quickly. And with all of the things that are happening, there are lots of people that want to immigrate, lots of people that are, immigration ready, express entry ready. And as soon as these things open up, they will grab it. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is the express entry draws, the latest express entry draws. Let's just have a peek and see what could happen in the next few weeks and into 2025. I'm making this video on the 25th of November, and if you look at the screen, we have some of the draws that have happened recently. So the most recent was on November 20th. There was a healthcare occupations draw. So these are like the apart from the express entry, the category-based draws. There was this healthcare occupation draws. There were 3,000 people were drawn, and the cutoff mark was 463. And I think that the healthcare is one of that category that has gotten like a lot of draws recently. We also had a CEC draw on the 13th of November and also on the 19th, and each of them, there were like 400 invitations, which is quite poor if you ask me, because there are lots of people in Canada with Canadian experience that are actually sitting on this CEC and waiting for these draws. And the government did do a draw, but drew only 400. And if you look at the points, 547 for November 13th, and it even went a little bit lower on November 19th. I'm thinking, could they not have just merged and done one draw, maybe drew like 1,000 people, which would have like driven down the points in the next draw. So it's probably a strategic move by the RCC to make sure that the points stay high, because as long as there are more people that are getting into the pool, they keep driving up these points. There was also PNP draws on November 12th. There was another one on November 18th. And it's the same thing. There were 733 invitations. The scores were 812. Then there was 174, like 6 days later. And the points, the CRS score was 816. Yeah, I'm wondering also why were the draws. I mean, I like the fact that the draws are done regularly. But if you do a large draw for maybe PNP or CEC, the points will drop for the next draws. But as it is, the points are actually not dropping. So in November, we've seen, so far we've seen two PNP draws, we've seen two CEC, we've seen one healthcare, and we've also seen one French language draw. This is another good one for those who can speak French and can, get yourself a French language do the examination and get yourself the scores. The CRS score was 478, and there were 800 people that were drawn. Yeah. We haven't seen trades draws. There hasn't been an agriculture draw like there was in October. In October, there was actually a trades draw in October. So there's a healthcare draw in November, Let's see what happened in September. In September, we had, of course, French draw. We didn't have any, there was CEC, French, PNP. There was actually no category-based draws in September. And in August, there were none. So there seems to be like an increase in the number of CEC draws and in the PNP draws that are being made. So if you're in any of these categories, you have Canada work experience, you qualify, you're eligible for the CEC or the PNP, it might actually be good news for you. But also take note of the scores, the CRS scores. They seem to be quite high. And also the province of British Columbia also did some draws in the month of November. On November 20th, they did some draws under the their skilled immigration program or skilled workers international graduate programs, includes the EEBC option. But if you look at the number of invitations, it's very low. For the childcare, there were just 3 number of invitations, construction 4, healthcare 4, tech there were 4. I mean, someone might look at this and be like, what is this amongst so many? They seem really low. For the general draws, also under the skilled worker EBCC, all of those international graduates, they had a total of 10 number of invitations. That was November 13th. And on November 6th, they had another set of draws. For this one, it was under the skilled worker international graduates. The tech people were like 31, but the others were just less than 10. I mean, I like the fact that they are doing draws. BC is one province that does draws on a regular basis. And I think that these numbers are just based on the quotas. Remember, I talked about the quotas. They have their quotas as well. So they are managing these quotas. And if you look at the minimum score, you would see that the minimum score has stayed almost, at the same. For childcare, it was 102. The minimum score, it increased from 96 to 102. So this is it. BC is one province that you can check out their skilled worker international graduate program and also all the other programs that they have. BC has quite an array of programs in their provincial nominee program. You should check it out. I'll leave the link in the comments below, the link to their website. So you go check out some of these provincial nominee programs that they have and see if you can actually take advantage of any of them. Manitoba also had some draws this week, yeah? So on November 22nd, they had the skilled worker in Manitoba draw the close relative in Manitoba selection. And these profiles are those that declare that they have a Manitoba supporter who is a close relative, who is also a Canadian permanent resident or citizen and is an established resident in Manitoba and has been residing in Manitoba for at least 1 year. So Manitoba has this program, right? The skilled worker, and it is the close relative selection. Some of you already know about it. If you have a close relative in Manitoba, yeah, that person can be your supporter. They don't do the friend one anymore. It has to be a relative. The number of letters of advice that they issued was 89, and the ranking score of the lowest ranked candidate that was invited was 840. They have their own scoring system as well. They also did a draw for the international education stream and profiles that declared that they met the international education stream eligibility requirements. I will also leave the link down in the down in the description so that you see what the eligibility is. They issued 165 invitations. They also did the skilled worker overseas draws, those that are directly invited by the province under the strategic recruitment initiative. They issued 25 invitations and the ranking score was 617. Yeah, you can check out all of these and see if you qualify for any of this. I also want to touch a bit on who a close relative is for this Manitoba stream. A lot of people ask about this question. So to be considered a close relative, a Manitoba supporter must be related to the applicant, either sister or brother, niece or nephew, aunt or uncle, first cousin, mother or father, grandfather, or grandmother. Yeah. So a lot of people ask, my auntie is my uncle, can my uncle support me and all of that? These are the people that can support you. Yeah. So really, if this person, you cannot prove that you're related to them, they advise you that you should decline your letter of advice to apply. You can read between the lines there. So that was the draw that happened in Manitoba this week. Now, even though we had all of this good news in terms of, it depends on how you see it, there were extra century draws during the week, BC held a draw during the week, Manitoba held a draw during the week, but there was a province that paused more than one of its PNP streams, which is quite sad. I'm always sad when I see provinces pause these programs because I know a lot of people are depending on these programs. Now, let's see this province that has paused their immigration program. A lot of you must be aware of when New Brunswick started this private career college graduate pilot program. Yeah, it was one of their programs that they just started. What you can see now on their website, they put a notice that effective November 15th, the issuance of new nomination certificates under the New Brunswick Private College Graduate Pilot is paused for the remainder of the year because they have gotten their full allocation for 2024. Candidates who receive an ITA remain invited to submit their full nomination application. Yeah, so they have actually paused that program. That program was for international graduates with the skills, education, and work experience to contribute to New Brunswick's economy and who are ready to live and work in New Brunswick permanently. They have paused that program. New Brunswick has also paused the New Brunswick Strategic Initiative Stream. Yeah, effective November 15th, the exploratory visit connection under New Brunswick Strategic Initiative Stream is paused, and they will not accept any new invitations until further notice. This stream is for French-speaking foreign nationals with the skills, education, and work experience to contribute to New Brunswick's economy, and of course, who are ready to live and work in New Brunswick. That is paused. So New Brunswick has also paused its Atlantic Immigration Program, the AIPP, which is a program that is done by all the provinces, the 4 provinces in the Atlantic region, New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia, and the 4th one. So effective November 15th, we are no longer accepting nor processing employer expression of interest under the AIPP as our full candidate allocation for the year has been met. So AIPP is still ongoing for the other provinces, but New Brunswick has paused its own. New Brunswick is the province that the immigration has actually increased in the last few years. So a lot of people have been coming to New Brunswick. It's a great province. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why their allocations are filling up so fast and they are having to pause them. So it's New Brunswick majorly that has paused its immigration programs for November of 2024. But of course, you know, there's just 1 month to the end of the year and they are going to start off in 2025. So you need to be ready and need to be aware. And, you know, I'm going to be bringing this information more often as soon as I hear that, you know, a province has paused or there's something or when there are draws, express entry draws, I'll be talking about it. If that's something that you want me to talk about on probably a weekly basis, leave in the comments, just leave the word weekly in the comments so that I'll bring you weekly updates in terms of what draws have been held, what you should expect for the next week, and anything that any of the provinces has done regarding immigration. So guys, even though, you know, the New Brunswick has paused, a lot of other provinces have paused before now, even though I haven't brought those news, but I'll bring them more often. But you need to know that the express entry is not paused, it's still open. There are a lot of other provinces that are still open. And then it's a new year. We're almost in a new year. It's a time for a new start. It's time for a fresh start, time for a fresh beginning. So that's something that you should keep your eyes peeled for, okay? I hope it was valuable to you, and I hope that you are ready to hit the ground running with the new year coming. I want you to rest and relax for the rest of the year. I mean, I always say there's something that you can't do something about, you just let it be and hand it over to God. So everything that has to do with your immigration, hand it over to God. Of course, you will not sit down and do nothing. Do your part, but leave the part that you cannot control up to God. Thank you very much, guys. You can check out this video next or all the other videos on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.